everyone, for tonight's Nightcap and review, I'm having water, and tonight I'll be discussing The Legend of the Nine-Tailed Fox by Katrina Kwan. I did get this as an art from NetGalley, and of course I'm giving my honest opinion. These are the highlights. And there were no listed content warnings in my version, and I'm giving this a 4.25, so what's it about? So this book is about Yue, who is a nine-tailed fox demon who may be the last of her kind. Hiding behind a magical mask, she appears as a beautiful young woman as she hunts the streets of Long Yao for human prey to eat. That is until she manages to capture the eye of demon hunter Song Yam, who manages to capture her and tries to send her to hell. But she is not one to go peacefully, as she manages to grab onto him and drag him into hell with her, along with his two armsmen. Now they're trapped in hell, and the only way out is for them to go through the different levels manned by capricious gods who have set deadly trials in order to trap them, which means the only way they have a chance of surviving these gods, their deadly trials, and all the demons who hunger for their human souls is to make a temporary alliance. But will the fear of being trapped in hell be enough for them to put aside their differences and beliefs and trust in one another? So what are my thoughts? Again, I'm giving this a 4.25. I really enjoyed the immersion into Chinese mythology and folk tales. Some of my favorite moments in this book were the stories about the star gods and their descent into hell, and how the author blended that into their concepts of the different levels of hell, which just the concept of the different levels of hell, I really enjoy how that seems to be something universal across all the different countries of this world. That is just such a cool concept to see everyone's different interpretation, and how not just culturally everyone has different interpretations, but even two authors from the same culture could have a different interpretation of the same level, say like the level of hunger. And just Katrina's interpretation of each level was so well done. I really enjoyed it, and I wish we had had the chance to go to each different level. We didn't get to go to all, but we did get to go to some, and those were just so enjoyable. And I enjoyed the different trials that the gods had set up. It just really fit them, and it gave you such insight into the author's mindset. And I just, again, I wish we had gone to all of them, because I really enjoyed it and it was really entertaining. Now, going into this book, I did think it was a YA novel, and that was a mistake on my part, but I do think this book would still be appropriate for the upper YA audience if they are so inclined to read it, because the romance in this book is a very subtle subplot, in my opinion. They do start out as true enemies. I mean, he's a demon hunter, she's a demon, and he's trying to banish her to hell. But when they become reluctant allies, they have to work through their differences, and it really causes them to open up and question what they know about one another, and you start to see them start to fall in love with one another. But it's, again, a very subtle kind of love, but I did enjoy that progression, and you got to see some great banter and open-hearted moments that I enjoyed. Now, something else I think the author was exploring with this book was the concept of who is a monster, because you have Yue, our female main character, who is a demon, and demons are born from the despair of humans, and she hides her monstrous, scarred demon face behind a mask, but yet seems to have more principles than humans. Humans who wear no mask and yet seem to have nothing but cruelty for their fellow humans, and don't have the excuse of being demons. So that was a concept I really enjoyed. Overall, I really did enjoy this book. It is a standalone fantasy, and it will be available February 24th, and I hope you give it a try and enjoy it as much as I did. And I hope everyone has a good night and happy readings.